Hello, I'm Leah. Welcome to Band T-Shirts with Leah. This is my weekly podcast where we have a conversation about a t-shirt from my band t-shirt collection, as the name suggests. I live in Adelaide and I record on Gardener land. So before we get into the t-shirt this week, I thought we have news, everyone. Exciting news. If you watched last week, you will know that I said the band that I really want to see is Oasis, right? And I'm hoping that there's going to be a reunion tour because they had the whispers of it had been coming through, and as excited and hopeful as I was like, don't get ahead of yourself. We have heard reunion rumors before. Just like calm down, right? Anyway, after I finished recording, of course, I was doom scrolling on Instagram, and later on that day I saw that both Liam and Noel had posted that there was going to be an announcement post from them, both of them, the next day, like London time. So of course, all day I'm like, oh my God, please let this be what we all think it is. We all hope it is, especially because it was both of them, right? If it was just one of them, then you would think, oh, it might be either a solo tour for Liam or a different band tour for Noel. Anyway, it happened, everyone. It happened. They have announced the reunion, and they started with, I think, 12 dates. So they're going to be playing at Wembley, in Manchester, in Edinburgh, Dublin and Cardiff. And I still couldn't believe it. When I saw the dates come up, I was like, is this real? Is this real? And also they're doing them mostly on like Friday, Saturday night, like couplings, right? So then they're going into Edinburgh, they were like Friday, Saturday anyway. So yeah, and then I was the same everywhere, right? And I was looking at it going, I'll go anywhere that I can get a ticket to, because obviously the ticket sales for this are going to be crazy because everybody will want a ticket. So I'm like, I have kind of a preference, but again, realistically, I'll go anywhere I can get a ticket. I want a BGA on the ground, like standing, but again, I'll go anywhere where I can get a ticket. Because I'm just so pumped about this. I can't believe this is happening. Anyway, it is happening. And so in honour of that, I'm wearing this jumper, which is like, it's my Liam Oasis jumper. Oasis jumper. Inspired jumper. If you did go back and see anything from Nebworth, you will see that he wore a red jumper with black and white stripes. Quite similar to this one on one of the nights that they did Nebworth. So here we are. This is my Oasis homage. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, I go anywhere, I don't care. I have a preference for where I want to sit, but again, I'll go anywhere. I'll sit in the clouds if I need to, and I'm scared of heights, but I'll do it because I want to go. I do think to myself too, man, I hope I didn't unsubscribe from Liam when I was going through a car. I'm like, oh man, I'm hoping I didn't get rid of that, because I'm hoping that he's doing some kind of pre-sale situation too for his mailing list. And I didn't unsubscribe, thankfully. But the pre-sale was a ballot. So there was no guaranteed pre-sale. So you had to register your interest for the ballot. Oh yeah, by the way, everything is happening super fast, right? So I think the announcement comes through on like Monday afternoon, our time, like SA time. And then they're like, I get the email maybe the next day to register for the ballot for pre-sale. Register for that, and they're like, you'll find out by Friday at the latest, like Friday their time, Saturday our time. To register if you've been successful or not in the pre-sale. Anyway, I register. They ask all different types of questions too as well, like because they want to try to make sure that it's like a genuine fans that will get that early access. So they ask you how many times you've seen him, but they also ask like, I think it was who the original drummer was. I think that was the question. Again, because they're trying to make sure that they're like that it's not bots, and also that it's like real fans. I mean, this is the modern age. Of course, you can just look up who the drummer is. You don't need to just know that off the top of your head. Anyway, I register. Oh, unsuccessful. I don't win anything in the ballot. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's fine. I'm just in the general public. It's fine. Like all you can do is try. Everything is fine. And then if you fail there, all you can do is set an upper limit for what you're prepared to pay for a ticket, and then keep increasing that upper limit the more desperate you become to get a ticket. Because that's how realistically I know I'm going to work. I'm going to say, I'm not going to spend any more than this, and then I will. If I have to, I will. I'll be like, well, I lied. I'm going to. Anyway, just I think on the strength of the registrations for the ballot, they add another 3 dates straight away. So another date at Wembley, another date in Manchester, and another date in Edinburgh. So Edinburgh now has 3 dates, and Edinburgh is actually my first priority, and where my friend who also wants to go, it's her first pick too. Now, neither of us have been to Wales, Scotland, or Ireland, so we are also like, hey, go to any of there's 3 layers, not either, go to any of those places, right? Because God, they're all beautiful. It's all a brand new experience, and it will be amazing. Also, like, we have both been to London on very short trips. I was there for a couple of days. I think she was there for like 4 days. So, but like, obviously there's still heaps of things that we can do in London. Like, we're fine. And then obviously, Manchester is going to be, I feel like, a totally different vibe because it's their home, right? So that's going to be another reason why, like, every location is going to be great. And we are just like, you know what, this is the order, but also realistically, if they just threw tickets in the air and you caught one and that's where you went, that's where I'd go. I get online real early, right? Probably like about an hour beforehand. I get home, get straight in there, and I'm like, you know what? This way I'll be ready when the lobby or the waiting room opens. I'll be ready. I'll go in there. I'll log in and I'll be ready to go. Anyway, at some point, I get logged out and I go, oh, okay. So I go back, to like one page, because at that point I'm in the screen for the actual night. It's on Ticketmaster. So on the front page, I click on Oasis, go through to Oasis, then I pick like the Saturday night in Edinburgh, and so I'm in that page when I get logged out. So I go back to the Oasis page anyway, and then it just times out, get booted. And because I'm like, when does the lobby or the waiting room start? Anyway, I've missed it because I don't know how, to be honest. I was about to give a reason, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know why there wasn't a waiting room before that. Anyway, I miss it. So I'm not in it. Then I try to get into the waiting room. I do not. I can't even get into... Oh, wait a minute. I'm skipping ahead here because I'm not even at the waiting room yet. First of all, there's a lobby. Then you click on the lobby and you go to the waiting room. And then after the waiting room, then you can go to the queue. So I now am in the lobby trying to get into the waiting room, which I cannot because it keeps timing out, booting me out because it's taken too long to connect. Anyway, this happens a couple of times. I'm slightly panicking, but not really panicking. I'm really panicking. And then eventually I get success. I move from the lobby into the waiting room. Now I get into the waiting room at... I had to write this down so I didn't forget. Just before 5 p.m. So it's 5 p.m. Adelaide time, 9 a.m. London time, that the tickets go on sale. I get into the waiting room just before 5. And I am still in the waiting room almost an hour later. So it's about 5:55 before I move then from the waiting room into the queue. And now I'm in a queue to get into the actual ticket buying. Yeah. So the lobby is the waiting spot to get into the waiting room. The waiting room is a waiting room for the website, and then the queue is the queue for the time and location that you've picked. And I have picked the Saturday night in Edinburgh, and when I get in there at, let me see, 5:55, I am 116503 in line. That's right, I'm over 100,000 people deep in the line, and everybody can buy 4 tickets per show. So if you get into one, like the queue into one night, you can get 4 tickets to that. Now it's funny that they have this thing where it's like per night, because then theoretically you could go back out, pick another night and maybe get more, but I don't know if that will work. I look at that and I think, you've got no chance. You're so deep in the line now. It's taking you forever to get into the line that you're already over 100,000 people deep in the line. Thankfully, my friend and her husband are also both in the line, but he is only like 6,000 in line, which is like, phew, thank God. Because the capacity at the Edinburgh location is about 70,000 or something. Now, he is 6,000 in line overall. So not just for that place, but overall he's 6,000-ish in line anyway. Yeah, he gets tickets. He gets through. He gets tickets, and we're in GA, and I can't believe it. I'm like, this is perfect, right? It's the Tuesday night in Edinburgh, in GA. This is exactly what we wanted. Paying the first round price, right? So not a resale price, the regular price. Anyway, excellent. I'm so excited. I just stay in the queue though, because I think, you know what? I wouldn't mind going another night if I can get tickets to another night. And anyway, it takes a very, very long time to keep on ticking through the line. So what I say, I got in there just before 6. Anyway, I'm still in the line hours later. Now, during this time, I'm talking to another friend online to find out, you know, how she's going. We exchange like pictures of where we're sitting in line. I only quickly look at hers and I think, oh yeah, she's ahead of me. Excellent. I hope she can get tickets to Wembley because that's where she's hoping to go. And at this stage, I know I have a ticket. And so if I don't get a second ticket, like obviously that's fine. So I'm like, excellent. She's ahead of me. Hopefully she can get a ticket for Wembley and we all can like jump around holding hands and squealing. Anyway, then she says to me, oh, you got a good spot in the line. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's ahead of me. No, I thought that she was like 34,000 because at this stage I'm like 37,000th in line. No, she's 340,000 people deep. That's where she is in the line. 340,000. Like, it's kind of good in a way that they tell you this because then you get a sense of like reality, but also I don't want reality. Like, I want hope. I want hope. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't read it correctly. She was, yeah, 340 plus in line. Then when I finally do get through, it's almost 11 and the page refreshes and I am in the map. And the map has a couple of blue sections on it and then they automatically disappear and the whole map is grey. And I'm thinking, I don't understand this. And then it says you can click on like availability. So I click on the VIP because it's the only category left. I click on the VIP, nothing comes up. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening on this website because nothing is coming up. And then, you know, I did that thing which obviously helps, which is just keep clicking on something, right? Obviously, if it doesn't work the first 1,200 times, try 1,201. Anyway, nothing. I can't get through at all. There's nothing there. There's not a single ticket coming up as actually available. But when I click on the pitch, because it's at a stadium, like a football stadium, that suddenly does go blue. But the tickets in there are for rear only GA. And honestly, I would not mind rear only either, by the way, because I think the whole thing is going to be, the atmosphere is going to be amazing everywhere in there. However, they are 347 pounds or something. Now, per ticket. Now, I think, that's slightly more than I expected based on the thing that they were about 150 pounds in for the GA tickets. But this one is more than 200 pounds more expensive than that. And this is despite Oasis posting something about like that there's only like you can only resale at face value and only buy tickets through like Ticketmaster, like to make sure that they're verified, like so you don't get ripped off. Anyway, but if you can only resale at face value, how the flip are these tickets 347 pounds already? Now, our tickets were all up, including like booking fees and everything, about 151 pounds. So it worked out to just over 300 a ticket. Now, I understand that for some people that seems a ridiculous amount to pay for any concert, and I know that for some people that seems a very ridiculous amount to pay for Oasis, but value is in the eye of the beholder, right? It doesn't seem ridiculous to me. I thought it was reasonably reasonable. I mean, I paid $200 to see Foo Fighters, you know, just like last year, so I don't, again, value is relative, right? And I thought that's not as much as I thought it was going to be, so again, I have a ceiling. I'm not going to spend more than. I'm also a liar who absolutely spend more than the ceiling. So anyway, the good news is that it took over 5 hours of me in the line and getting nothing and being like, well, you know what, it is what it is. We've seen, I'm very lucky I have tickets to one night, so I'm definitely going. And when I talk to my friend who got the tickets, they got 2 spare tickets, and so my other friend who didn't get tickets to Wembley, she's coming to Edinburgh, so it's happening. Oh yeah, that friend, by the way, is Kendall. You might know her from the print story earlier on. Yeah, so it's happening. It's happening, everyone. I'm going to Edinburgh to see Oasis, and it's going to be a very good time because I've never been to Scotland before, and I really love Scottish accents, and I want to see some castles and also kilts. So that is my number one update. That may have been an overly long summation of what happened, but look, I have been really nervously excited about the Oasis reunion and ticket situation all week, and it has been occupying a massive chunk of my brain. So now you have a small chunk of my brain. You're welcome. Anyway, let's get into this week's t-shirt, which, you know what, I haven't done this on purpose, but it's another not black t-shirt. I know, it's crazy. Who knew? Who knew I had so many not black? Anyway, are you ready? Ooh, happy birthday. Language warning. Fucker. Faith No More. That's right. It's Faith No More. And that happy birthday, fucker, which you may know from the gentle art of making enemies if you are in fact a Faith No More fan. So this is a red t-shirt with, like, I'm gonna say it's block writing, like solid, like capital writing of happy birthday fuckers, but it's kind of like in a spray paint in the sense that it's a bit distressed, the actual printout on it. And then it has a love heart, love Faith No More. That's in white. Now, this t-shirt actually is also really soft. It's a very nice t-shirt. And on the back it has, in that same type of block lettering with distress, Faith No More, the Second Coming tour, because this was also from a reunion tour. Anyway, so this was Australia, New Zealand 2010. Now, you might be able to see on the back. Oh yeah, you can. That's coming up good. That there are some standalone shows, but there is also a lot of Soundwave festivals. And that is where I saw them, at this one here at the bottom. Well, the second to bottom, sorry. Soundwave in Adelaide. And those dates that are on there, those, what, how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 10 dates are in alternate white and yellow capital block printing between where they went. So because this was Australia, New Zealand, did 2 dates in New Zealand, Christchurch and Auckland, and then a date in Brisbane, 2 in Sydney, 3 in Melbourne. Of course Melbourne get 3. 1 in Adelaide and 1 in Perth. So, I mean, to be fair though, 1 in Sydney and 1 in Melbourne were Soundwave, and the other 2 were sideshows. So, anyway, here it is. This beautifully slightly rude t-shirt. I saw Faith No More at Soundwave at Bonython Park on the 27th of February in 2010. Now, this was the first time that I had seen them. They broke up in 1998, around 1998. Now, they had toured Australia before that. Now, 1998, I'm still only very young. I think they toured Australia in either 96 or 97. But I did not go to that tour because I was only very young and I did not have a job. I had no income and no prospects, so I did not get to go. And then it wasn't long after that they split up. So they split up before I'd had a chance to see them. So obviously this t-shirt is a little bit cheeky, of course. It has a rude word straight on the front of it. But the slightly cheekier story around this t-shirt is that I went to Soundwave the same day that I had a wedding to go to. So yeah, that's right. Just like Stormzy, I skipped out of a wedding to go to see a band. Well, actually, that's not even true because firstly, Stormzy went back to the wedding, and also he wasn't going to go see someone, he was performing, so obviously that's different. But anyway, I went to the wedding ceremony and then I left the reception to go to Soundwave, and I made that choice based on the fact that I had never seen Faith No More and I did not know if they would stay together, and I did not know if they would tour again, and I really wanted to see them. Like, by this stage, by 2010, I had been a fan of theirs for already like 20 years. Is that right? No. 1990. Yes, that is correct. I was just thinking, no, that can't be right because that makes me over 50. But no, Leah, 2010 wasn't 20 years ago. It was 14 years ago. Now my maths is starting to work out. I was definitely not mathsing right then. So, in about 1990 is when I become a Faith No More fan at that time. And I am only a child. I'm 10, right? So, but I'm a fan of Faith No More. So by the time they come then, in 2010, it's been 20 years. 20 years of fandom. So I go, you know what, I'm going to attend the wedding. I'm going to witness the ceremony. I'm going to see the couple afterwards and offer my congratulations. I'm going to provide a gift and then I'm going to leave. So it is cheeky in two ways, because it's a little bit cheeky on there, but it's also cheeky because I left a wedding to go and see Faith No More. But I don't regret that. It is still the only time that I've seen them, and we'll get into again in a little bit why it's the only time I've seen them. But the first time I was too young and also had no money. This time I go, I think I have to go. Also, this is the same Soundwave that Jane's Addiction are playing. Now, I'm going to talk about Jane's Addiction in this one because I have a Jane's Addiction t-shirt, so we'll talk about them in a future episode. But yeah, so I get there just not long before Jane's Addiction, and really, honestly, really not long before. And then I think there's a bit of a gap. So see Jane's Addiction, then I think it's Jimmy Eat World, and then I think it's Faith No More. No, there must be another band because I reckon Jane's Addiction are on this side. Jimmy Eat World are on that side. There must be someone else here because then it's Faith No More here. Anyway, I get to see Faith No More finally, and I can't believe it. And because they're closing, I think they get a slightly longer set than normal. I reckon their set is probably over an hour. I'll put the set list down below, but it's pretty long, right? So it is, I mean, it's not as good as when you get a standalone set and they can play for what, 1.5 hours, 2 hours or whatever, but it's better than 40 minutes. But again, I've never seen them at this stage, so 40 minutes is still 40 minutes that I will very happily take. Anyway, when they come out, they are all dressed in like what look to be pastel suits. Now it's like, I can't, because it wasn't close enough. And when I look back at the photos that I took, which by the way, I'll pepper them in through this conversation, they're not great. And they're not great because it was 2010. I had a camera that was 2010-ish. And also it was dark, right? So there wasn't really a way for me to capture photos in a different way because I didn't have the technology or the equipment to do so, right? And also, and then I wasn't close enough either, so the photos are not great is what I'm saying. But I think they do come out in suits, and then I think that Mike Payton, I think he takes his jacket off, which is why I think in some of the photos it looks like he's wearing a shirt. But they're like pastel. They feel like they're kind of a light pink or a light peach. Anyway, and they start with Reunited, and you know, and then it feels so good, and it does, because again, this is another moment where I can't believe I'm actually getting to see these people perform, right? I'm there after all this time, after 20 years, I finally get to see Faith No More, and I can't believe it. Because also, they reunited, and it does feel so good, and also, everyone still sounds so good. Sometimes, when you see a band come back together, or actually not even a band, even if you just see an artist that you saw once a long time ago, and then you see him further down the line, and they start singing, and you got this, oof, this is not good. Time has not been kind to you, or perhaps you have not been kind to your voice. Perhaps you have done all of the things that people who want to sing can't really do with their voice if they want to preserve their voice. Anyway, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. It sounds so good. Everything is so good, and I can't believe it. And I'm there, you know, my brother, and he can't believe it, because they're sitting there thinking, this is happening. We're seeing Faith No More. Actually, I think he'd already seen them once before that, but I had not. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Can you? And my sister was also there with another friend, and she, afterwards when I saw it, she was like, yeah, she can't believe that it was happening either. Because they did sound so good. Their sound was still so, it was so tight, even though they hadn't played together for so long. But you know, again, when people are very good at what they do, right, they don't seem to lose it. And luckily in this sense, Mike had not lost his voice, because I guess there are things that you can do sometimes with instruments that can help someone play a little bit longer, and preserve that. Also, if they have smoked a lot or whatever, it doesn't really affect their ability to play guitar, right? Because it doesn't change the way that the guitar sounds. Whereas sometimes, obviously that can impact on a person's voice. Also, the continuous use of their voice, right? If they perform a lot and they aren't, you know, it can have an impact anyway. It's amazing. I'll tell you this right now. It was a great end to that festival that I only saw 2 bands at. But it was so, oh man, it was so good. So they do a good mix of songs from across their catalogue. They don't really seem to focus on one particular album. They take songs from lots of different albums. They do Evidence, they do Surprise You're Dead. It sounds funny when you just read it out like that, because in my mind I hear it how they sing it, which is more like, surprise, you're dead. Anyway, but it sounds weird when you read it like just as 3 words together. Anyway, they do that. They do Easy, they do Ashes to Ashes, they do The Gentle Art of Making Enemies, and they do Easy and Epic as well. And then the encore is Strip Search and We Care A Lot. And We Care A Lot is obviously a much older song too. So it was, I mean, and that's not the whole set list, right? Because like I said, I'll post the set list down below. But that's quite a spread, right? It's not just, this is our favourite spot and this is what we're doing. They do quite a lot. So if they had people in the audience that liked their older stuff, they got that. And if they liked their middle stuff, well, like everybody got catered for. But also as well, it was just such a good, they just put on such a good show that I think that if you were there casually watching it, you would have enjoyed it. And I know I say things like that all the time, and I know I have a bias because I enjoyed it, so I think, why wouldn't a person enjoy this? But also, I can tell you right now, there have been times when I have gone to see someone and I have been there for a minute and thought, uh-oh, this is not good. And other times where I thought, you know what, sometimes it's just like a bit nervous, just, you know, a bit clunky to start with. Things will even out, it'll be fine. Did not even out, did not be fine. So there are definitely times when I have seen people and I have thought, oof, terrible. That was terrible. So you can trust me when I say that I would tell you if I thought it was terrible or subpar or not very good. I mean, to be honest though, I probably wouldn't do a series. I wouldn't add them to the podcast though, right? I might say, I did see blah blah at this festival too, but I didn't think they were so great. Actually, you know what? I might not say that. I might just say I saw them and then that's it. And I won't add any qualifying remarks around that. Like, I won't say, yes, they were really good. I just won't say anything. Anyway, they were really good though. And it was such, there's also a danger too, you know, when you've wanted to see someone for such a long time and you haven't, that when you finally get to see them, that the expectation is beyond reality. So you are placing something on them that they can't deliver to because what you're imagining is beyond what's possible because of the expectation you have and the weight that you put on it. No, not this time. It was great. It was so great. And it was so great that, of course, I thought, when they come back, I'm going again. Quite some time later. They do, in fact, say that they're coming back. We got this amazing, like, teaser announcement with a mountain picture on it. We're like, ooh, what's happening? Then they announce in 2020 that they're going to come to Australia in May of 2020. Now, again, I think you can see what happened here. The great stay home. They could not come here. Firstly, they would not have been allowed in the country. And secondly, we would not have been allowed to amass in a group like that. So, May 2020 obviously does not happen. So, let me just read this so I get the sequence right. It gets postponed to March 21. Then in December 2020, we get another notice that it's been rescheduled again to February 22. Because again, movement in and out of Australia in 2021 is not super good. Then in December 21, we get the update that it's actually been cancelled. So I bought 2 tickets for this. So my $300-ish had been held by the promoter or ticket company. I don't know who was holding it at this stage. For almost 2 years, right? Including a period where a lot of people were experiencing financial hardship from, you know, losing jobs, losing businesses or whatever. So holding that money was not ideal. Secondly, when it does get announced that it is actually, they're making the decision to cancel it, they're not going to reschedule again, they're just cancelling it. There's a really long gap between when people get their money back. I reckon it's over a couple of months and it's not consistent. When other things I had got cancelled, the refund was automatic. We just got our money back and that was it, right? And some ones, when they cancelled pretty early and they were like, we're going to cancel this show, but we're going to come back when we can. And when we do, you, as a previous ticket holder, will have priority to get tickets to start with. You'll get a pre-sale priority before everyone else, right? So, oh, by the way, I don't believe that this is a Faith No More issue. That there is a refund. There is a refund issue. I don't think it's linked to them at all. But then we actually have to start going in, and people are like manually requesting them and emailing and saying, where's our refund then? Where's our money? And I reckon that there was a gap of at least a month between when the first person in my friend group that got tickets got their refund and when the last one got them. And the last one had to follow them up repeatedly, the ticket provider, repeatedly to get their refund. So, man, ended up being an absolute fucking shit show. And now we still haven't seen them again because they haven't come back again. And I don't know when they're going to, but, or if they're going to, I don't know. But this remains the one and only time that I have seen Faith No More. So, favourite song. I'm actually going to do songs again. That's right, I'm going to do more than one. So one is The Gentle Art of Making Enemies. I think, oh God, I just said enemies really weird then. I think it's such a great song because it has such a wonderful contrast in it. It starts with that very heavy guitar and then the drums and then it kind of quietens down a bit and Mike Patton, he comes in with, I wouldn't say it's quite his crooning style, but it's close to that. Comes in with him like that, and then the music picks up again, and then his voice changes again into a more aggressive delivery. And I just think that that contrast is just really signature Faith No More. And I think that that contrast, whilst it was there kind of in the first two albums, it's very strong from the real thing. Like, so once Mike Patton joins the band, that contrast becomes more evident. And I'm sure it's linked to his writing style and also his vocal abilities, like his ability to switch between that, like those different styles, that very crooner style melodic voice, and then that more aggressive, and then that almost like speaking type of one, because he has such a great range. And then when you add that to the ability of the musicians already in the band, so that fusion of those two things, his vocal ability and songwriting and their musicality and musicianship, what a great combination, right? Very, 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 very good. So anyway, that's one. The Gentle Art of Making Enemies. Epic is obviously another one. I reckon this is the first time that I had really properly heard Faith No More. Afterwards, I went back and listened to earlier stuff, right? But when I hear this, I mean, I'm only like flipping 10, right? Okay. My musical depth is not super deep because I'm a child. Anyway, this film clip is so good. It's like, it's crazy, right? And at least half the band have got really long hair, and Mike Patton is wearing this really colourful clothes, and man, it's so good. And I reckon this song must have been #1 in Australia for some time, because I remember it closing Rage. Like, it felt like forever. It felt like it was the last song all the time. They all had such they just had such great style. Everybody looked so cool. That long hair, which I still love long hair. Everything about it just felt cool, and I just really liked it. And I thought, like, I can't believe that there's people like this just getting around in the world. These cool people just out there. Anyway, I was a pretty impressionable young kid. I'm a pretty impressionable adult, but anyway. Then the final one is Dig in the Grave. And I think this is the same thing again. So they've got that great contrast in it, but also it's probably the Faith No More song that I like to sing along to the most now. Again, everybody can sing in the sense that everybody can sing, but the quality of the singing is what differs, right? So I would say I can sing, but the quality is not great. But I do love to sing along to this song. But I can't do the screaming part because obviously I cannot, and I also feel like that would hurt. But I just think, I don't know what it is. There's just something about it when I hear it. I just think, yes, yes. And then I sing it very loudly. I know I usually close with a band that I'd like to see, but I think we've already talked quite enough about a band that I would like to see at the start of this episode. Also, sometimes I like to talk about a song or a new music that I can't get enough of. And again, it won't surprise you to know that there is not a lot of new music getting around at the moment that I'm listening to, because I'm very singularly focused at the moment. I know I've got a lot to do before I go to Oasis next year. I think the Military Tattoo is on at the same time, and the Edinburgh, like the Fringe Festival, is on at the same time. So even though it's like almost a year away, I have a lot of planning to do around that. But I'm helping to manage my feelings around that by listening to lots of good nostalgic songs, which are not just Oasis. It is Oasis, but it's also, I've been listening to like James, Pulp, Travis, Manic Street Preachers, Franz Ferdinand. Anyway, I think you can find a theme there. Anyway, thank you for joining me for Band T-Shirts with Leah. I hope you've enjoyed this week's walk down memory lane. And anyway, this is a band T-shirt. This is Leah, and this is goodbye. See ya.